Of the 3 title fights at UFC 261, I've got to say the one I'm most looking forward to, and probably the most difficult to predict, is the women's strawweight fight between Weili Zhang and Rose Namajunas. This fight is going to be an absolute banger. It is going to be a bang of a fight, and I absolutely can't wait for this fight. So a little bit of a background for context. Rose Namajunas fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk at UFC 217. Rose comes in as a heavy underdog, Joanna as champion at the time, and Rose shocks her. First round KO, winning the title to become champion. Joanna immediately invokes a rematch at UFC 223. It's a much more difficult fight, but Rose manages to defend by decision. UFC 237, I think, yes, UFC 237, Rose is defending a title against Jessica Andrade. That's the time when Rose was saying she was sort of out of sorts, not really feeling it. I think she was having some mental problems with this, with exhaustion and stuff. But yes, she goes in, defends the title against Jessica Andrade. That's the time when Jessica lifts up and slams her to the ground, knocks her out cold, and by the time Rose comes to, she's no longer champion. UFC 251, Rose manages to rematch Jessica Andrade and beats her by decision, but unfortunately by that time Jessica Andrade is no longer champion. That's because on one fight night out in China, Jessica Andrade had to defend her title against an up-and-coming fighter at the time, was only 3 fights into a UFC career, Weili Zhang. Home ground advantage, she's feeling it, and in 42 seconds she's knocked out Jessica Andrade and becomes the new strawweight champion. So that's how we got here. You still with me? So yes, it only seems natural that oh, I almost missed an important one. Weili Zhang had to defend her title against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So yeah, you see, we've come full circle. Had to defend her title against Joanna Jędrzejczyk in what is up till today one of the greatest MMA fights, not just women's strawweight fights, one of the greatest MMA fights. 5 rounds of absolute mayhem between Weili Zhang and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So yes, Weili defended, and that's why Rose is back in the picture, challenging for Weili this weekend at UFC 261. So what do I think the outcome is going to be? Frankly, I think it's gonna be a really tough fight, which is what I've already said. Rose Namajunas is a phenomenal fighter, phenomenal striker. Her footwork is impeccable. The way in which she feints is brilliant. The way she goes in and out, her movement is just ridiculous. And I think she's gonna have to lean on a lot of that if she's gonna have any chance against Weili Zhang. The one thing that Rose doesn't have in abundance is power. She doesn't really pack a lot of power in her punches. They're very technical, but they're not always very powerful, and power is something that Weili has by the bucket loads. Look, Weili is 21-1. She has only lost 1 fight, and that fight was the very first fight of her pro career. She lost the first fight, and since then she's not lost. She's on a 21 fight win streak. 21 fight win streak, and over half of those have come by KO. So when I say she's got power, she's got some real power for strawweight. Do I think the power will be enough to outsmart Rose Namajunas? Honestly, I don't know. Rose has got the height, she's got the reach, but man, Weili Zhang has just got the grit. There's just something about it. It's like when you watch her working out, even on social media, she just has a grit about her. You know, she just has that's something where you're like, I can't see her losing. Like if you see the fight with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, man, that fight was hectic. And when she came out, Joanna had a hematoma on top of a hematoma, and Weili was just still in there. She looked like she could go another 3-4 rounds. She is an absolute beast. So I think as technical as Rose Namajunas is, as brilliant as she is, brilliant as her footwork is, I think when it comes to it, Weili will just have just enough to be able to take it. And I think, again, just like with the Kamaru fight, which I think the champion will defend, I think that's going to be the same here as well. So again, with this fight, 2 words: and still.